Good morning, physics students. So, I had a little change in plans, but I think for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm just going to kind of go through the process of my thinking in how to build a catapult and what you need to do, and just kind of work you through the steps and the science of how to build your own catapult for your final. So, what I'm going to do today is kind of give you a background of how what my thinking is if I'm trying to build a catapult. On Tuesday, we're going to go through the actual rubric. I'll answer any questions that you have, maybe go through a little bit more in depth of the math associated with it. But for now, let's just look at what we're trying to do. We need to build a catapult. So let's just go to a calendar. So here we have where we are right now. So you're probably watching this somewhere around the 24th, 25th, or 25th, 26th. So this week, I would suggest that you research what a catapult is. Go on Google, look up how to build a homemade catapult. You need to decide whether you want to build a tabletop catapult or whether you want to actually go outside and fling plastic eggs around. It is completely up to you, but you need to hit all of the rubric points, no matter which one you decide to do. You also need to decide how you want to present, because especially if you're making a video, then you need to start from the first day when you're gathering the supplies, showing all of the experimental things that you did to make a good video out of it. I would recommend doing that method, because even if you don't know how to video or edit videos at all, that is an important skill that I'm hoping that you will get from this time. And some of you are better at it than anyone, but especially in the day and age that we live, that's a skill that you're probably going to need. So here's your calendar. We're right here. And so we've got this week where you are gathering materials, you're trying to think about whether you want to write a lab report or make a video. And then we have the first week in June is when I would suggest that you are actually building it. By the end of this week, you should have a catapult that actually works. So you get 2 weeks. This week you build materials, you find the materials, you start experimenting, you make all the decisions that you need. And then the first week in June, you build your catapult. You test it, you make videos of the different things that you're experimenting with, successes and failures and so forth, so that you have an entire week, the second week in June, to edit your video, to put together your lab report, to write up the final analysis of it. Because this isn't, I mean, it is fun, but it isn't just having fun. It isn't, just experimenting. It's, can you present the thing that you've made? And that's a lot of what science is. Can you write the lab report that proves to other people that you did it well? So that's what you should be working on during this week. And by the way, there's also a parade that week. Your catapult project needs to be submitted to me by the 16th. This day in class is the last day of school. I want to show your projects. I do want to keep in mind, as the shutdown is lifted, you can talk to friends and be in groups, but I do not want you to work together. This is an individual project. You never know when shutdown is going to increase or decrease. We want everyone to be safe. This is an individual project. That being said, I am willing to have you come to school during this week, once you get it done, to actually present the catapult to me. Historically, we've had lots of kids come to the school and everybody lines up their catapults and we all see you shoot, and it's a lot of fun. And this is going to be a fun project anyway. And if you want to present it to me in person instead of making a video, then you can, but you'll have to be able to verbally explain all of the things that are in the rubric. I mentioned the rubric a few times. We're going to talk about it in class, but let's look at that rubric. So here's the thing that you have. It's going to be on Google Classroom. It was also in your packets that you got home. COVID Catapults, there's 3 schools participating in it. We are going to get together, but I will show you videos as they come in of the different students that are doing it. So that just explains the videos and so forth. I just want to point out that it exists, that you're sure that you see some parts of it. Namely, you may not build anything involving chemical reactions. There can't be an electrical process, but your catapult does need to have a trigger. You can't just lean on an arm and then roll off of it for the thing to fling. There has to be a safety mechanism associated with it where you can pull a string or you can, click a little something so that it triggers. So you can be at a distance. Let's say 2 meters. That's a good distance. That's 6 feet. Okay. So while you're making your catapult, before you, this week, while you're thinking about it, make sure you read all of these things that you're going to be graded on, so that you're sure you've included them in your video, in your presentation, in your lab report. Tell me why you chose the angles that you did. Where is the conservation of momentum? Where is the energy transfer? This counts a lot. This catapult competition is your entire final exam for your college physics year. That means it needs to intelligently talk about all of these things. Let's go on a little tour. I'm going to, look around, show you my thoughts, think about, what I could use to build a catapult out of.
All right, so I'm doing a Google search, and I'm looking at catapults. I was looking at simple ones. They're mostly, tabletop ones, and you could build a tabletop one, but that's not fun. And I want big. I want, backyard. My neighbors asking, wondering what I'm doing. So I'm thinking I can just scale these up a little bit. But so what do I need for materials? That's my question. So we're gonna go on a little hunt. I see over here in the corner, I have, just a pile of stuff because that's how I live. I could use a flag that's the right idea. It's the lever arm, but that's, kind of, well, it's very American. I don't know. I feel like there's something wrong with flinging eggs with a catapult. So, not this would probably be a really poor choice to use, poor choice to use as a lever arm to fling things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something. Ooh, this has potential. Ha ha ha. Pun right there. This might make for a very good lever arm. It's lightweight. It's already got a hole in it. That is a good find. What else do I have here? Oh, I got other walking sticks back from when I had bad knees. Some of these would look cooler. I used this kind of, what do you think? This could cause problems with energy conversion. Got a little dust on it because it's not perfectly symmetrical. The center of balance is a little bit off. It could work if I cut it. I don't really want to destroy something. I'll keep that as a mind. It might actually add. I think I had a good find there. But this is the idea. What I want you to do is, go through piles of stuff that you have, and talk about why this stick might work better than that stick. Why you don't want to use a light. Talk about why you might not want to use a flag. Find a good lever arm. Find your materials. Let's see what else we can find. I was on my way to my garage to, show you what might be found out there, and I happened to see this. Now, candles, yes, they repel mosquitoes. You absolutely cannot use any kind of fire or anything like that in your catapult. So it's just a little reminder, absolutely no fire to start the trigger reaction or anything like that. However, I saw these are from a craft project I did a while ago. They actually could work pretty well, either for supports or for lever arms. They already have a thing attached to the end that makes a nice base for legs. So I'm just thinking about these things as, I walk around, I can find different things. So that has potential to use for something. But what caught my eye was not the pieces of flowers that go with those, but this rope down here. A good, strong rope. I think I used it as a clothesline for something. This will be awesome for holding things together because I have screwdrivers and drills and those types of things, but rope works really well. Okay, so these are types of things that you want to find as you're looking for materials. So I'm walking around and I did find those. I thought I had a pile of screws and nails and things down there, but they're not there. So I don't really know how I'm going to hold this together. Got a sledgehammer, got some different pipes and so forth. So the idea, again, we're just looking for stuff that we can use to build a catapult. Got some weights over there. You see, stuff like this is kind of flimsy, but it's lightweight, and we want something that's lightweight. Ooh, I could use that metal stand as a base. Basically, we're looking for junk. That's what we're looking for. Place to find junk is in the garage. So we're going to head out to the garage. Oh, we're going to get dizzy. Oh, look. I learned to do some painting during this little pandemic that we're having. I painted my porch. Isn't that cute? Anyway, let's see if we can walk very carefully and zoom out to my garage. Oh, over here. Maybe you don't have a bunch of wood laying around your house. Maybe you just have a pile of sticks someplace. Those make excellent catapults. If you can rope them together, you can glue them together, make a big one, make a small one, shoot things off into the woods. That's perfectly legitimate. I do not want you to buy anything to put together this catapult. So here we're going to see what's in the scary garage. Now I know I'm a little weird, but this is, of course, because everyone has over 60 paper plates attached to sticks from a various yard sales. I have a pile of, literally have a box of lever arms. So that's perfect. You can use any of those things to build or structure with. A door, wouldn't recommend using that. Going to put it in my bathroom at some point in the future. A wheelbarrow, That is like the base of a catapult that's just waiting to happen. It's got a flat tire, so it doesn't have any other uses. Some hose, tables. I do have just a bunch of random wood that I need to remember that I have. That could be used. I mean, if I wanted to grab my saw and cut things. What about up higher? This wire is rough. I mean, I've got lots of different wire. It's difficult to make things out of wire. But cardboard, you could always use cardboard. There's some more of those flowers. So I hope you get the idea. So what I want you to do this week is to just kind of look around. See what you can find. Would a tarp work for anything? What about this kind of wood? Giant pieces of wood, small pieces of wood. Whatever you do, we are not using chemicals. No flammables, nothing like that. We're building a catapult that has a lever arm that can shoot an egg as far as possible. Alright, so I didn't gather all my materials, but I gathered a good bunch of them, and I know where they are if I need them. So I think I'm going to use those as legs and as a base. Definitely going to use the rope somewhere. Maybe I'll build like a trebuchet kind of idea. They need a lot of rope for that. Got lots of bungee cords. I sent you one in your packet, but you can get as many as you need. Again, don't purchase anything. If you happen to have them, then use them. Found a bunch of these hooks and latches, so I have some type of trigger to keep it safe. Really happy I found this lever arm. That's going to work really well. I still need to find something to actually put the egg in, and I need a whole bunch of eggs.